All right, let's explore Wild River State Park. Get ready to deep dive into all sorts of cool stuff about this Minnesota gem. We've got websites, articles, and maps to guide us, plus some firsthand accounts from people who've actually been there.
It's really amazing how much info is out there, from the official Minnesota DNR stuff to like insider tips from those Friends of Wild River folks, and even, those random moments that visitors captured. It's really cool.
Totally. Like, we're not just getting the official story, but those little hidden gems, too. It's going to be fun.
Yeah. And speaking of gems, the park itself is pretty unique. It stretches along the St. Croix River for 18 miles, but it's not a straight line. Not at all.
Oh. So what's the shape then?
Well, a lot of sources describe it as like a sideways S. It's kind of wild.
A sideways S. Okay, now I got to picture that. So how does that shape, impact the park itself?
Good question. That unique shape really shapes the park's, character, you could say. See, most of the development, campgrounds and visitor centers and all that, it's all clustered in the lower third.
Ah, so if you head up to those upper sections.
You got it. It gets way more remote, less developed, perfect for folks who want to escape the crowds and, just get lost in nature.
Makes sense. So it's kind of like the park offers both, a quick getaway A&D, a real wilderness adventure. 2 for 1.
Exactly. It's pretty awesome. And speaking of adventure, we should talk about the history of this place, how it's changed over time.
Yeah, that's always fascinating. Where do we even start?
Well, we got to start with the Ojibwe tribe, right? They were
Yeah.
the original inhabitants.
Yeah.
And their story is woven into the landscape itself.
It's amazing when you think about how much history is layered into a place like that. It's not just trails and trees, it's, people and their stories.
Absolutely. And there's actually a really cool example of that. So back in 1853, they built this road, the Point Douglas to Superior Military Road, and a section of it still exists in the park today.
Whoa, a military road from the 1850s. That's incredible. So can you, walk on it?
You bet. It's part of the Deer Creek Loop Trail now. Can you imagine, walking in the footsteps of soldiers and settlers from over 170 years ago? It's wild.
That gives me chills. What a cool way to connect with the past. But okay, this park isn't all about history. It's teeming with life right now, too. Let's talk about the plants and animals. What's the ecosystem like there?
Well, one of the things that makes Wild River so cool is that it's in this transition zone, kind of between different ecosystems.
Yeah.
So you get this mix of pine forests and hardwood forests.
Okay, cool. I can picture that. Anything else?
Oh, yeah. And there are even remnants of what they call oak savanna, which is pretty rare nowadays.
Oak savanna? What's that?
So picture this. Wide open grasslands, but with oak trees scattered throughout. It's this super unique habitat, and Wild River still has some of it.
Wow, that sounds beautiful. And what about wildflowers? I saw on minnesotaseasons.com they listed all these different types, like wild columbine, wild geranium.
Oh yeah, the wildflowers there are amazing. They really add to the beauty, and different wildflowers tell us different things about the environment. For example, wild columbine. That's what we call an indicator species.
An indicator species,
Yeah.
like a sign of something.
Exactly. So if you see a lot of wild columbine, it means the woodlands are healthy, they're thriving.
That's so cool. It makes those wildflowers even more special. Okay, but enough about plants. What about animals? Any chance of seeing, something bigger than a butterfly?
Oh yeah, definitely. Even though the park is kind of narrow, it acts as this crucial corridor, north-south, for wildlife moving along the St. Croix River.
So like a highway for animals.
Exactly. You'll see the usual suspects like beaver, raccoon, deer, that kind of thing. But, you might encounter something a bit more exciting.
Okay, spill it. What else is out there?
There have been more and more black bear sightings in the park lately.
Whoa, bears. Okay, now that's an adventure.
And if you're super lucky, you might even catch a glimpse of a gray wolf.
Wolves. Okay, I'm officially adding bear spray A&D, some serious hiking boots to my packing list. All right, so we've talked history, the ecosystem, even those potential bear encounters. But what I'm really excited about is what we can actually do at Wild River, the experiences we can have.
Oh, yeah. Get ready. We're about to cover everything from peaceful paddling to some serious hikes. It's going to be great.
I'm so ready. Let's start with the St. Croix River. What's so special about canoeing there? Everyone's always raving about it.
Well, it's not just any river, right? It's a designated national wild and scenic river, which is a pretty big deal.
Oh, okay. I gotta be honest, I don't really know what that means. Is that just a fancy title or something?
Nope, it's way more than that. It means that the St. Croix is protected, for its natural beauty, its recreational value, and that it's free-flowing. No dams, no diversions, just pure wild river.
Okay, I'm starting to get why people love it so much, but paint me a picture. What's it actually like to canoe there?
So imagine, like, gliding through these calm waters, surrounded by these huge bluffs and forests. You might see bald eagles soaring above you, otters playing on the banks, or even a deer coming down for a drink.
Okay, stop. I'm already sold. That sounds incredible. Just like completely immersed in nature.
Yep. And the best part is, you don't even need your own canoe to experience it. They have, like, a place right in the park where you can rent them by the hour or the day.
Really? So you can just show up and they've got you covered.
Exactly. They even have a shuttle service that'll take you back from the takeout points. So, you can just focus on enjoying the ride.
That's amazing. Talk about a convenient wilderness adventure. But wait, didn't I read something about jet skis being banned there?
Oh, yeah, you did. And that's one of the things that makes it so special. It's this sanctuary for wildlife and for anyone who wants, like, a quiet, peaceful experience.
Peace and quiet, that's my jam. But okay, sometimes I need something a little more, active. What about hiking? What kind of trails do they have at Wild River?
Oh, they have trails. Over 30 miles of hiking trails, I think. So whether you want, like, a nice stroll or a real challenge, Wild River has it all.
30 miles, that's a lot of trails, but where do you even begin?
Right. Well, if you're just starting out, there's the Mittagwaukee Loop. It's super easy, paved, and it starts right at the visitor center.
Mittagwaukee, that sounds familiar.
It's Ojibwe for Oak Woods, and the trail goes through, you guessed it, a beautiful oak forest. It's really cool.
Love it. But okay, what if I'm feeling, a little more adventurous, like something that really pushes me?
Oh, if you want a challenge, definitely check out the Aska Knob Loop. It's got these steep hills and, like, some pretty rugged terrain. But the view from the top, oh my gosh, it's worth it.
Challenge accepted. And what about that historical trail we talked about, the one that goes along part of that old military road?
Ah, yes. The Deer Creek Loop. It's not just historical, it's super scenic, too. It goes over this beautiful bridge, and you get glimpses of the St. Croix River Valley. It's gorgeous.
Okay, this is getting ridiculous. Every trail sounds better than the last. How am I supposed to choose?
Huh. Why not try them all, right? That's the beauty of Wild River. It really has something for everyone, and you could easily spend, like, several days exploring.
You know what? You're right. Multi-day adventure, it is. But after all that hiking, I'm going to need a place to, crash. What are the overnight options at Wild River?
Well, they've got a good mix. From campsites to some more modern places. The main campground has 94 drive-in sites, and 34 of those have electrical hookups.
Nice. For those of us who, like a little comfort in the wild, what about like bathrooms and showers?
Oh, yeah, they got you covered. The main campground has, like, modern restrooms, showers, the works. And if you're bringing your horse...
Wait, hold up. There's a horse campground?
Of course. This is Minnesota. It's separate from the main one. 20 sites and 15 have electric hookups.
Wow. Even the horses can enjoy the good life? Though I guess they'd probably prefer some hay over a hot shower, right?
Yeah. Huh. Right. But yeah, while the horse campground does have electricity, no showers there. Maybe a dip in the river for them.
Uh-huh. You know me too well. Okay, but what about those of us who, crave something more primitive, like backpacking?
Oh, yeah, for sure. They've got 7 backpacking sites scattered throughout the park. Get off the beaten path and really experience the wilderness.
And what about those canoe campsites along the river?
You got it. There's actually 4 of them along the St. Croix. Perfect for a multi-day paddling trip.
Okay, this is amazing. So many choices. I can see myself camping in a different spot every night. One night under the stars, one night in a cabin.
And don't forget, a night by the river, just you and your canoe and the sounds of nature.
Oh, right. Almost forgot about that.
Yeah.
But you know what? Even with all this hiking, canoeing, camping, I feel like there's got to be even more to discover at Wild River.
You're so right. There's a whole other side to it, beyond the trails and campsites. It's the little things that make it really special.
Okay, now you've got me really intrigued. What else is there?
Well, how about some fishing? Or maybe checking out the visitor center. Or perhaps even a chance encounter with a former politician.
Hold on. A politician at Wild River. Okay, now that's a story I gotta hear.
We'll get to that. But first, let's take a little break. When we come back, we'll dive into those hidden gems and lesser-known things that make Wild River so unique.
All right, don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back with more Wild River adventures.
All right, we're back, and I'm ready for those hidden gems. Spill the beans. What else is there to discover?
Well, Well, before we get to that, I think it's pretty cool how Wild River balances those like hidden gems with the more well-known attractions.
Balance, what do you mean?
Well, think about it. We've got those like remote, wild areas perfect for people who want solitude, but then we also have those developed campgrounds with like RV hookups and stuff. We've got those challenging hikes, but also those easy paved trails. It's kind of amazing. That's true. It's like they've created a space where, all kinds of nature lovers can enjoy themselves, whether they want a rugged backcountry experience or something more accessible.
Exactly. And, that's not easy to do. A lot of parks I've been to seem to cater to just one type of visitor, but Wild River really embraces that, diversity of experiences.
Yeah, it really does. It makes you think about how much planning goes into like creating a park like that.
Yeah.
They've really thought about how to accommodate different needs and interests, but still protect the natural beauty of the place.
For sure. Which makes you think,
Yeah.
how do we make sure that balance continues into the future? How do we keep Wild River thriving?
That's a big question. What do you think?
Well, I think it starts with, individual responsibility.
Yeah,
Every visitor has a part to play in protecting this park.
definitely. We've got to practice those leave no trace principles, be respectful of the wildlife, and be mindful of our impact on the environment.
Exactly. And I think we also need to, advocate for the park's long-term health,
Yeah.
Support those organizations that are working to preserve it, speak up about issues that could threaten it, and encourage others to experience it responsibly.
It's so easy to get caught up in the excitement of planning a trip, packing lists, choosing trails, all that. But we have to remember that we're not just visitors. We're part of this larger community that's responsible for, taking care of these incredible natural spaces.
Well said. It really is a privilege to experience a place like Wild River. And with that privilege comes a responsibility to protect it.
Okay, enough with the soapbox. Let's get back to those hidden gems. You mentioned a fishing story earlier. What's that all about?
Oh, right. Well, we talked about hiking and canoeing, but the St. Croix is also a great spot for fishing,
Yeah. What kind of fish are we talking about?
All sorts. Smallmouth bays, northern pike, walleye. You've got catfish.
Catfish. I haven't caught one of those in ages. My grandpa used to love catfish. He'd tell me all these stories about reeling in these huge ones with those whiskers and all.
Huh. It's awesome. You should grab a pole and try your luck on the St. Croix. Your grandpa would be proud.
You're right, he would. But okay, you also mentioned the visitor center. Tell me more about that.
Right. The McElroy Interpretive Center. It's a great place to, learn more about the park.
I love visitor centers. They're like little treasure chests of information. What kind of stuff do they have there?
All kinds of stuff. Exhibits about the park's history, the ecology, the geology. You can learn about the Ojibwe people, the logging era, how the St. Croix River Valley was formed, all that cool stuff.
It's amazing how much you can learn about a place just by spending like an hour at the visitor center. It's like getting this whole behind the scenes look.
Totally. And they often have naturalist programs and special events, guided hikes, presentations, even stargazing.
Stargazing. Now that would be incredible. I bet the night sky there is amazing, away from all the city lights.
Oh, for sure. But speaking of hidden gems, there's one more I wanted to mention. Remember that YouTube video, Hitting the Trails?
Yeah, the one that felt more like a casual hangout with friends than a structured park tour. I loved that one.
Me too. It felt so genuine. And one of the things they talked about was seeing a snake on the trail. A flathead snake, I think.
Ooh, a snake. Were they freaked out?
Nope. They were totally cool with it. Actually, they used it as a chance to talk about, respecting wildlife, even the less cuddly creatures.
That's awesome. Good reminder that every creature has a place in the ecosystem, even the ones that give us the creeps sometimes.
Totally. Oh, and then you mentioned something else that surprised me. Apparently, former Vice President Walter Mondale, the politician.
Yeah.
Well, he was a huge advocate for the St. Croix River, and there's actually a trail named after him in the park. The Walter Mondale River Trail.
Walter Mondale, the politician. What was H.E. doing at Wild River?
It turns out he was really passionate about conservation. He played a big role in protecting the St. Croix as a national wild and scenic river.
Wow, that's amazing. You never know who you'll find advocating for nature, right?
Right. It just goes to show how, personal passions can lead to real change.
You know what? One thing I'm realizing is that Wild River isn't just about the big landscapes or the exciting activities. It's those little details, those unexpected encounters that really make it special.
Couldn't agree more. It's the mix of history, nature, and those personal experiences.
Yeah.
That's what makes it so memorable.
And that's what makes this deep dive so great. We're not just skimming the surface. We're getting to the heart of what makes this park so unique.
And hopefully we've inspired you to do the same. Whether you're, an experienced hiker or a first-time visitor, Wild River has something for everyone.
And hey, maybe we'll even bump into each other on the trail someday.
That would be awesome. But for now, we'll leave you with this thought. If you could choose just one way to experience Wild River, what would it be? What would you be most hoping to see, feel, or discover?
Woo, that's a tough one. But for me, I think it would have to be canoeing down the St. Croix River, at sunset, just surrounded by all that peace and beauty.
That sounds absolutely perfect. And, I can't think of a better way to end our deep dive into Wild River State Park.
Don't forget to check out the show notes for links to all the sources we used. And until next time, happy adventuring.
Keep diving deep.